Hello, I'm Paul, and this video is a little introduction to the A-Level Politics course and why it's a good course to do. So without further ado, let's go through the politics course. I'll briefly go over the course outline. More details can be found at the Edexcel website, which is the exam board that we do, and also on the college website as well. We'll then have a quick look at some careers from politics, some skills for doing lessons, and then I'll introduce you to the summer work, which I'd like to do for the first lesson, which you have politics for. So, first thing then, in terms of the course, the exam board we do is Edexcel, and in the exam you'll do 3 exams at the end of the 2-year period, each one 2 hours long, and each one essentially having 3 timed essays per exam. So on the first unit is the one we'll be starting out with. It's called Politics and Core Ideas. It's basically about people, and it's about how does politics interact with ordinary people, and how do people get involved, I suppose. So on the right hand side you can see some of the topics which we'll be doing. I'm not sure how to get rid of this thing. So we're looking at democracy and what is democracy, pressure groups and civil liberties, so how are our rights protected, political parties and the differences and the similarities between them, voting systems, UK elections and why people vote in certain ways, and the role and significance of the media. We also look at 3 core ideas of politics: liberalism, socialism and conservatism. And that will take us up to about half term in February, give or take. We then come on to Unit 2, which is on the UK government. So it looks at the UK Constitution and how our system is kind of set up. It looks at Parliament, the Prime Minister and the Executive, and the relationship between institutions. And within that particular part of the course is where the Supreme Court is also located. Then we have a non-core idea which we have a look at, which is nationalism. I normally do that at the end of the second year, right before the exams. So that is the first year, essentially. And then in the second year, we then look at the United States of America, and it's a comparative paper. So you have to compare the USA with the UK. And again, it follows a very similar kind of area. So we look at the Constitution of America and something called federalism, the role and powers of the American Parliament, which is called Congress, the Executive, which is basically the presidency, the Supreme Court. We look at civil rights in America and civil liberties, US elections, political parties, pressure groups. And as I said, this is a direct comparison paper. This is actually the exam paper which I mark for the exam board, just in case anyone's interested. Okay, so what types of things do we do in class? Well, there's a whole variety of things. I mean, it's an A-level, so all A-levels are more difficult than GCSEs. However, I like to include quite a lot of variety of things in class and a variety of different activities. I do like to think of new things as well to do from time to time. I've just discovered you can do snakes and ladders on past knowledge, so you'll be seeing some of those in the next couple of years. We do class discussions from time to time, we do recall activities, we do group work as well. We do a weekly quiz. It's like a national quiz where schools compete against each other on latest political news. Obviously we do stuff which involves reading, we do written skills as well. We do regular assessments, which will be essay based, because at the end of the day that's what the exam is. So we do quite a lot of timed essays. The idea is when you actually walk into the exam in 2 years' time, it's almost like a recall action. You know exactly how to do the exam and just get on with it, basically. And I do set homework every lesson usually. And again, what we do, it depends. Sometimes I use my YouTube site as a source of information. I use my team site where I've got quite a lot of things on there. Sometimes I might have to find things out. Use Politics Review magazine. There's a whole variety of stuff that we do in terms of homework. And then finally, what use will studying A-level politics be to me? Well, actually, it sounds a bit cheesy, but actually, like it or not, politics does affect everything we do. I mean, that picture on the top of the screen, a lot of you may have been affected by the teacher strikes, for example. Again, that is politics, isn't it? Your decision to come to our college or go somewhere else is political. The government set up this system where schools and colleges compete for each other, or in fact the fact you do exams, and you do exams at 18, you do exams at 16, you may do SATs at 11, All this involves politics. So the course is really good, I think, for getting to understand, what the systems are in Britain and also the United States for how decisions are made, and therefore to evaluate, what the strengths and weaknesses are of those systems. I think it's really fun and really interesting, and I quite enjoy politics and enjoy reading about politics. There's quite a few podcasts I like to listen to, so I think it's really fun and really exciting. There are some transferable skills, which is kind of a bit of a thing these days, isn't it? So a lot of it is about developing arguments and writing arguments and knowing what information or knowledge to use to make sure your arguments are really strong. It's also about evaluating other people's arguments and learning how to disagree amicably, I would say. And I think these are skills you can use in a whole range of different other A-levels and different jobs and careers in the future, where you have to use evidence and to evaluate what other people are saying and what their arguments are. In terms of careers, because of those transferable skills, obviously universities like Politics A-level is seen as one of the A-levels which most universities really like students to have studied. In terms of jobs and careers, former students of mine have gone to things like the civil service, business and management, because again, these sorts of jobs require, knowledge of kind of making arguments, don't they? The law, I know at least 2 of my former students are now barristers, always handy to know. The media and journalism is quite a popular area as well. You don't have to be a political journalist, but again, being a journalist and using the media always involves evaluating arguments and what people are saying. Obviously, you can study politics, international relations. You can also go into politics if you wanted to from doing A-level politics. And then quite a lot of these big charities, these international charities, like Save the Children or Oxfam, they've obviously got interests all around the world. And in terms of international development and international aid. And again, politics is really crucial for understanding that area and that aspect. And again, quite a few students of mine go on to study international relations at university, which is into that kind of field. So that's a quick overview. I hope that was of some use to you. Now, what I'd like to do for the first lesson, which you start the course in September, is I'd like to complete the booklet. It will give you an overview of aspects of the course, which will be on the exam. It will give you an overview about what we do. It will give you your chance to find out, this is really what I want to do. Will I be interested in 2 years studying all these different areas? And it'll give you a nice overview about the history of democracy in the UK, a little bit about political parties in there, civil liberties. I've got a nice article about the coronation of King Charles, and then a little bit about the role, the characters of different prime ministers. So it'll give you a nice overview over the summer of politics, and to make sure that you are making the right choice and that you'll enjoy doing the subject for the next 2 years, which I can't see why no one wouldn't enjoy. So enjoy the rest of the summer holiday, and I will see you all in September with that booklet nicely completed.